Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, I want to take a look at The Black Hole. That's Walt Disney's movie, The Black Hole, the comic adaptation from Gold Key and Whitman Comics. We'll be looking at issues 1 through 3. Okay, so the here you can see the hopefully you are at least familiar with the movie, even if you haven't seen it in years. And I have here the Gold Key version, which is the entire movie adaptation in a single issue. And then in Whitman, their Whitman version has issues 1 and 2, which included that comic adaptation, and issue 3, which is Beyond the Black Hole. Okay, The Black Hole, issues 1 through 3, are from 1980. Disney Productions. Is from Whitman, Gold Key, or Western Publishing. There are unfortunately no creator credits, but the adaptation was drawn by Dan Spiegel. That's issues 1 and 2, and issue 3 was drawn by Al McWilliams. Don't know who did the writing on those. So now the movie, it was a 1979 movie, an American science fiction film from Disney, directed by Gary Nelson, not me. And it starred director Gary Nelson. I think he did a fine job on the movie, and he's not as well known, but he has done his stuff. But aside from The Black Hole, he is probably best known as one of the directors of Gilligan's Island TV show. Okay, it stars Maximilian Schell, Robert Forster, Joseph Bottoms, Yvette Mimieux, Anthony Perkins, Ernest Borgnine, with voices of the robots as Roddy McDowell and Slim Pickens, and they are both uncredited. So it has with a stellar score by John Barry. And it was released just barely in 79, 12/18/79, and is reported to be the first Disney film with a PG rating. Unfortunately, it underperformed, but it still did decent, with earning in the U.S. market $35 million on a $20 million budget, and it garnered 2 Academy Award nominations for that year in cinematography and special effects. So it wasn't too shabby, even though a lot of people don't care for it, and I think it has become more of a almost a cult classic. You know, people who didn't see it at the time are not as aware of it, as it is a fine movie. It's got some problems, but overall, it was a fine movie. Now, I'm not going to go into much detail on. And the movie adaptation has the Gold Key special, Walt Disney Showcase. And now when they did the comic adaptation, when they were contracted for it, apparently they were contracted for 6 issues, or a 6-issue miniseries with the first 2, and aside from this, I guess they were all going to be Whitman. The 2 issues for the comic adaptation, and 4 issues of a storyline of Beyond the Black Hole. And I have issue 3, and of course the Whitman imprint was they were bagged and sold in 3s in department stores and the like, so that they would have 2. Hypothetically, have 2 separate packages, one with 1 through 3 and the other with 4 through 6. but apparently it didn't come out that way. They did produce issue 4 and sold in America, which is supposedly, and this is with Whitman imprint, supposedly the rarest Whitman comic book was Beyond the Black Hole, or Black Hole number 4, and apparently the other two, and I have seen. I've never seen an issue, but I found a website online when I was doing research that did have had scanned in the entirety of issue number 4, and that was drawn by Dan Spiegel, but unfortunately I couldn't read it. It was when you the scan was imperfect enough when you blow it up so that you can actually see the image clearly enough. It distorts the lettering, and very little of it is readable. But I got to look through it, and apparently at some point in there, Dr. what's her name, Kate's dead father, who pops up in there, and I don't know about 5 and 6. Now apparently those two were only released in the overseas market. I don't know why. Maybe it did. Maybe the whole show did better overseas. I don't know. Now, of course, this is a respectable adaptation. Dan Spiegel, of course, they did not maintain the images of the actors. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention was that there were actually 2 comic adaptations of The Black Hole. One of them was done by Jack Kirby for European market exclusively, although apparently it was published here, but I've never seen it. I did get to see some of the pages on another website in my research. I didn't know anything about that, and that's cool, and I would love to see that. Okay. And apparently that was done in the fashion of a Sunday comic strip page. I don't know. So, it does a good job maintaining the look, and there's some of the show, the ships, the interiors, the robots, etc. So here's the Palomino spotting the black hole. Then they spot. Let's see. This is our cute robot friend. Of course, so much of this is derived from the popularity of Star Wars. They had to have cute robots. Vincent, cute robot friend, voiced by Roddy McDowall, and they see the ship, which is the Cygnus, which Kate, it is her name, right? Kate. Yes, Kate McRae. Her father was the executive officer on the Cygnus. It is a gigantic ship, the biggest ship they ever sent out, and which was presumed lost with all hands, commanded by scientist Hans Reinhardt. Okay, they start getting sucked into the black hole until get aboard the ship, which is in calm space. Find apparently these robots taken to Hans Reinhardt. He's got his right hand man, which is Maximilian, this big red devilish looking robot, and I have these other humanoid type robots which do the work, and then there are a bunch of guard robots, again making things look a little like Star Wars, like these robots are like the stormtroopers, etc. And Reinhardt is plans on he has developed an anti-gravity technology and plans on going into the black hole, and one of the crew of the Palomino winds up dying when he tries to take the ship take the Palomino, and he winds up crashing into all through the time they discovered. There's lots of good action. Had some great action scenes in the movie, and here they're fighting amongst the robots, trying to get away. And it turns out that the crew never left. All of the so-called humanoid robots who do all the work are actually cyborgs, and they are what's left of the crew. That Reinhardt has turned them all into cyborgs, and they are all they can do. Their minds are completely gone. They're just very robotic, and can only do what they're programmed for. Meanwhile, as crash, and the Cygnus is suddenly sucked into the black hole, struck by meteorites. Hans Reinhardt is trapped by the giant this giant screen in the control center, and Maximilian takes off and is destroyed by Vincent, and they get away. They did lose one little robot friend that they made friends of, who was voiced by Slim Whitman, but they are still sucked into the black hole and through it. Now, this is where there is a difference in the adaptation and the movie, because this is the way the movie was originally done. But they went back. If you've seen the movie and you remember way back when, then they had all these images of like hell, and Reinhardt is sucked in, and Maximilian is like the head demon and stuff like that. You know, all that weird hell imagery was not originally in the script. They went back and did not like, thought the conclusion was anticlimactic, so they added to it. Now this is following the original script. And that's that. And one thing, this is a 60 center, and it has no ads in it. Now these two issues, they have ads, so it makes them longer. See some cool stuff, and the artist did a great job. That's Dan Spiegel did a magnificent job capturing the likeness of the Cygnus, because this would have to be something extremely difficult to draw especially over and over again. Okay, then issue 3, Beyond the Black Hole. What shocking discoveries await the crew on the other side of the abyss, where the laws of nature do not apply? Well, they have this is drawn, as I said, by Al McWilliams. Okay, they have gone through. They got away. Their own ship, the Palomino, was destroyed, but they got away on the probe ship that from the Cygnus, and they have gone through and seen some weird stuff going on, and some various lights, kind of like 2001, and I think this may have been to compensate for the strange stuff at the end that they didn't have in the original adaptation, and some strange lights, the sun. Hey, here's looks like a Ross Andrew drawn Spider-Man ad for Hostess Twinkies, and then they come across another ship, and this one is called the Palomino, but it looks completely different. They acknowledge it; it's completely different design from their Palomino, which was destroyed, and they can see themselves on the flight deck of the other ship, and they seemingly passing through this wall of light. And then they're in a bubble, and Kate sees the image of her dead father, and then this a UFO-looking, flying saucer-looking ship comes up to them, and they are literally beamed off that probe ship onto this other ship, and they go to what at first appears to be a space station, what turns out to be another Cygnus. What? How is it possible? It was just destroyed. They have come into an alternate universe. Yes, they have entered into one thing that is not quite right with this story is that it is the captain of Palomino who comes up with realizes that they are in an alternate universe, rather than Kate, who is the scientist of the group. Anyway, and they meet Max Reinhardt and Maximilian, the robot, and but they have admit that they're confused when he doesn't know them, all this other stuff, and we don't know how much of the other stuff is the same. They find another version of Old Bob, the other cute little robot that they befriended, who was destroyed on the other side in their version, and they are. But again, they are taken prisoner. But Old Bob helps them to escape, neutralizing the attack fighters that Reinhardt has on board, which would be flown by robots, etc., and have another ship made available, shuttle-type craft made available. He prepares that and helps them escape. But there they go. I'll get it here. But they do escape with some danger and excitement. Not as thrilling as the movie adaptation, and while it's a mirror or another universe like their own, the things are not quite the same. This version of Reinhardt made comments about something about the Verlites and their rebellion, and they know nothing about that, but they take off in this other ship with Old Bob, and it's leading into dun dun dun. Next, in issue number 4, the Verlites, which is when we would find out about that Verlites, and I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed rereading these books, and it is a lot good, clean fun. And this is, and just a few years later, they did a similar type thing with the Condor Man, except there they only did 3 issues, which was the movie adaptation plus one sequel issue. Again, it was under the Whitman. Well, it had both Gold Key and Whitman imprint, I think. So it was very nicely done. Of course, it doesn't look like anything like the actors, but it probably had some contractual stuff to that. And I enjoyed reading them. So I want to thank you for joining me. And I wish I had the score to play here for some background music, but I don't. Had a great score and some great effects, and I really like this movie, even though it has some little problems. It's a spectacular viewing experience. So, and an enjoyable reading experience too. And I read the novelization at the time when it came out, which shows you how old I am. So thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments down below. And remember, even when it's from a movie, comics are art.